Hey everybody, we found another campsite for the night in a different location. I'm trying to figure out where to tell you where we are at, but it's the closest place I could tell you is Horse Lake Trailhead. But we're back here a little bit away from the trailhead, dispersed camping, and I just saw a sign up here. I'll see if I can get the trail number. It's 9117J Trail, and this is the road to Ashurst Lake, and this is a dispersed area here. There's another area just up from here, about a quarter of a mile up on both sides of the road. And actually, I think Tammy and I came up here last year on the quads and scoped it out. My goodness, though, look how much room there is here. It's not the most level area, but it's nice. A lot of shade. It's about the worst part of this up here is coming up that dirt road. If you don't mind washboard roads, it's about a mile of washboard dirt road. Here it is. Ashurst Dispersed Camping Loop 1. So that's where we're at.
Take a holiday and spend some time with you. Trying hard to take some time away and have a peaceful day or two. Someday when our ship comes in, I know just what we'll do. We'll load up the motor home and have a holiday for two. We'll pack our bags and bring the dogs and have a holiday for two.
Here comes somebody up the road right now. Nice little places back in here, though. You can drive in, pull in anywhere you want in here, and kind of find yourself a nice little campsite. There's a tent that's been back there since we got here a couple hours ago, and I haven't seen anybody around it, but somebody may be fishing at the lake and they'll come back later. Sometimes people do that. They'll put a tent out, go up to the lake and fish, and then come back in the evening, and that's their place to sleep. So that's cool. We're not going to bother them. The wind has died down. That's even better. I think it's kind of strange. I don't know how to explain this, but all along this road there are areas that are really, really green, and then there are areas where it's really, really dry. And this is one of those areas that's kind of dry in here. Where we were down at Forest Road 135, it was just so green. And there's certain other areas when you're driving along Highway 3, you'll go along and you'll see an area off the side where it's really green. Everything's just green. There's grass growing in the trees. And then you come along other places like this where it's green, but not as green as it was down the road. We had a lot of rain a couple days ago, so that probably helped everything, I'm sure. But you got the Goblin. I'll take the Goblin out tomorrow and do some scouting. I'd like to go down and see what's up this road here. There are a few other campers here with us. There's some folks over there in the trailer and a pickup. And then just over the hill you can't see is another Class C. Oh, a little bigger than ours. Just over the hill. I'm going to say probably a 31 foot. So he probably came through here. But you got to watch some of these bumps. Oh my goodness. Woo. Knock stuff off your shelves things. We came in right through there and it was a little bit bumpy. And a whole bag of corn chips fell down from above onto the floor. What a mess. Of course the dogs helped us out. Alright. Gonna go fix some dinner. It's starting to get a little chilly now. It was nice this afternoon. I want to say 70, 71. Just beautiful, but a little breezy. But now the temperature's dropping. How you doing? What do you think of this? I'm going to take a drive around on the quad and show you this Dispersed Camp area, Ashurst Dispersed Camp Area 1 and 2, which I think is the next one over. But I'm going to go down this road and show you what it looks like down this trail a little farther. I am south of the Forest Road 82 East, 82E. And so we're not very far, maybe 100 yards south of the road. But there's a lot more back here, plus I'll go up the road and show you what it looks like. So in case you ever want to come up here, I would give this about 3 stars. And the only reason I'd give it 3 stars is the bumpy road to get up here. There's about a mile of washboard, which I don't personally like, but some people don't mind. And the other thing I would give it 3 stars, at least for this area, is because of the uneven ground. You kind of really have to pick and choose where you want to pull in for a campsite. So let's show you around so you can see what it looks like. Here we go. So the first area I'm going to take you to is Dispersed Area 1, which is just south of the main road of the 82E. But on most maps it says Ashurst Lake Road, so either one will work. This is where we were. This is south of the main road, and I'm going to go back a little ways. And there are nice spots back here, but you do have to watch out for some rutted areas. I think most of that's due to the snow and the rain that we had in the months or two before May. It's funny because sometimes those ruts will smooth out over the summer as more people come back and travel on this road. But you'll see there's some people back here, and it's kind of funny because we had some people come in about 10 o'clock at night the night before, and they came in the dark, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I wouldn't want to try and get back here in the dark because of all these big ruts. But they did it, so they must have been used to this area, and they've been back here before. As you'll notice as I go down this trail, you'll see some people off to the side, on the left side there. I think that's the group that came back at night right there. They're the ones that came back the night before around 10:30 at night in the dark. Well, and you look at the kind of terrain you got back here. I mean, there's some really nice spots, but you just have to be careful. I wouldn't want to take my motorhome over some of these big ruts and stuff. But if you have a high profile trailer and a pickup truck with 4-wheel drive, you're not going to worry about it as much. But in my motorhome I do, because I don't want to take out my holding tanks, you know what I mean? That's always a fear. I've seen it happen before. Went back a little farther on the quad and saw some more people back here. Up to the right there. You can kind of see them. Maybe you saw them there for a second. Even fire rings back here. So you know when you see fire rings in areas like this that there are people have been back here. So these are all kind of, I guess that's what considered as it to be a designated campsite. Well, I came back about probably half a mile, and if you can tell by looking at the video, you come in here late at night, there's some really big ruts and stuff. If you're in the daytime and you can see those ruts, you could probably go around them. That's why I gave it 3 stars. Just because there's places where it's really nice and level, like right here. But then you've got some really rutted areas. But there are some nice campsites back here. So if you come back a little farther and you take your time and you don't mind some bumps, you'll probably be fine. There's really nice. You saw the group over there that I passed. So there are people back here. Let's go on to the other side, to the second area. There we are. And I'm going to go around and show you the second area. So let's go through the second area. This is Dispersed Area 2, which is sort of northeast of where we are, as well as east and south of where we are, because there's actually spots on both sides of the road up here. So this is the main road, the 82E, or Ashurst Lake Road. So if you stayed on this road, it would take you all the way to Ashurst Lake, which is about 4 miles of bumpy road. I know because we did it a couple years ago. So here's a turn off to the right. This is one of the first areas. Not a bad little area. As you go back, it doesn't have as much room as the one that's behind me, but it will come down this so you can see what it looks like. The road is really nice here. Not too bad at all. In fact, you do see this a lot, and those off to the right there, that trailer, that 5th wheel trailer, you'll see this a lot up here. People will come up here and park, and then I guess they leave their trailer and then go back into town and come back at a later time. We've had friends that do that, and they don't have anything messed with, but it's always my fear, you know, if you leave something there, you know, what could happen. But it's a pretty quiet area, so I don't see a lot of that happen, which is good, right? I just wouldn't do it. I get back here and I made a little turn. It actually did go a little farther south of where I am here, and I did it later on, and I tell you, there's a really nice area back farther there. If you don't mind a few bumps to get there, it goes into a really beautiful meadow. But oh man, the bumps. It was funny because the story I told about the chips and things falling, that really, you know, true. And there's the sign for the second area. It says Dispersed Loop 2, and this is north of the road we're going to take up here. This is actually, and I'll tell you again in a little bit, you'll see a little clip. This was my favorite area. I think this is the nicest area, but I got to share you, even though I say something here in just a second, I did find another access road just a little bit to the east, and I'll show you at the end of this video on the map. I'll show you where that little road is that I found. It goes up a little bit to the east of here, off to the right. I didn't know about it at the time I did this until later, and I found it on the quad. But when you get up here, there is a nasty little rut and bump right in here. See where that tent trailer is off to the right? It's right in here. It doesn't look like it on the quad, but man, oh man, that right there would take out my holding tank. I'm sure it would, especially if I hit it at the wrong spot. It'd probably drag my trailer. But if, you know, I were in a pickup truck with a 5th wheel, I'd be high enough up that it wouldn't matter. But there's people out farther there, so I know I tried to go around through here and see if I could find another way on the left here, but I couldn't find a way. But I did find one later on, and I'll show you that. I'll loop around there. Just a nice little area back in here. Mixture of shade and sun. So if you ever get up here and you're looking for some dispersed camping that's free, it's a great little area. And if you have a vehicle that you can unhook and take to the lake, that's even better. You can do some fishing at the lake and then come back. So this would be Ashurst Lake, or Ashurst actually, Ashurst Dispersed Camp area number 1 and 2. A nice area. All right, well, this was Ashurst Dispersed Camping Loop 2 that I just went on. And I'll give you my 2 cents worth here. This area is, I like better than the first one that we're at. The only problem is if you get farther back down these trails, it does get bumpier, as you can see on the video. Somebody left their trailer right there, just parked it. And you see that a lot out here. Now, of all the areas, this probably right here in this area would be my favorite pick to come back to, I guess. Right in this first area, the first quarter mile. Now, you did see people farther back, and I'm laughing because there was one big dip right there coming in. Right where that tent trailer, that trailer is right there. There was a big dip I went through. Personally, I wouldn't want to do that in my motorhome, but obviously some people did. And then there's the dust. So, to avoid the dust, you probably want to get back off the road a little ways. If you don't want the dust in your camp, get off the road a little ways. That's why, I guess when you're coming in here, determine which way the wind's blowing. Is the wind blowing from the south to the north or north to the south? That might make a difference on where you pick your campsite. But this right here behind me, the Ashurst Loop 2, is, I think, the best. Although across the road there's a nice spot there. So you really, if you don't mind going back and getting back farther off the road, and you don't mind doing those bumps and stuff, then there's lots of spots back here, lots of campsites. All right, and of course at the end of the video I'll show you where this is on a map so you can find it. I always like to do that, so stay tuned at the end and I'll show you how to find this area where we're at on the map. So safe travels wherever you're going. Be safe out there. Enjoy yourselves. And I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. In case you want to come up here to the northern Arizona Highway 3, I guess, Lake Mary Road. It's lots of camping along Lake Mary Road. This is just one of many. So I'm trying to log some of these in. So have a great day. If you like this, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell. That little bell on the side, so you'll be notified when I do more of these. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. Stay tuned at the end, so I'll show you how to find this spot. Bye. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to show you how to find Ashurst Dispersed Camp areas number 1 and 2. And the easiest way, of course, if you're coming from Flagstaff, is come south on Lake Mary Road. And you're going to look for a turnoff right in here. Let's see if I can get it, zoom in and get it to show up. There it is. You're going to look for the turnoff for Pine Grove Campground. But instead of going to the west, you're going to turn and go to the east on Ashurst Lake Road right here. I think the other name is 82E, Forest Road 82E. And you're going to come about a mile. Let me switch to satellite in a minute so you can see it. But there's a little trailhead here called Horse Lake Trailhead. And we were up here a year or two ago on the quad and did a video on all this area. But let me zoom in and show you what we found on this trip. Now the area that we stayed in is kind of hard to see, but if I zoom in on the map you can see it. Because here's the trailhead. We were just right up here down this little road right here. That was the first area that we were in, Dispersed Area 1. Right there. So when I went up the road on the quad, I went to Dispersed Area 2 right in here. And I guess this would be officially the trail that I went up when I went north of the road. Then I also went south. This is where I went first. There was a trailer that was parked there. Remember that, the fifth wheel? And then I went back a little ways and then I turned around. Well, I did find a really cool meadow area down this road right here. The problem is getting to it on the bumpy road right here. But the trick is, no, actually I came down this way. So the trick is to come through this way and go down. But just remember, don't go back on this side because that is bumpy, 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 and rocky right in through there. And if you got a high clearance vehicle, you'll be fine. But if you're in a low clearance a motorhome or dragging a trailer behind you, yeah, it could be nasty. So you want to stay on where the road is nice. Now let me show you, when I got back here, probably about in here is where I met up with the little tent trailer right about in here. And then I went up, turned around right in here. I saw people back farther, and I thought, well, how'd they get back here? Okay, well, I didn't realize there was another little trail over here, the 82. So if you do get up here and you want to do some camping and you want to get farther back, take this road. You can take this road and get up in the front area here. That's fine. That's great. Nice area. But if you want to get farther back, take this road. It seemed to be a lot better than this road, especially when you get back in this area where those big bumps were. In fact, technically, you can even go back quite a ways. You see that right there? Somebody got back here on a big trailer. Look at that. So this is how I don't know what this is. I saw this and it looks like I saw this on the Google Maps. I thought, what is this? This looks like one of those places where people come out with their BMX bikes, and mess around in the dirt. Like, look at it. Somebody's out there just doing donuts or something. But it does go back farther. And the thing is, a few years ago, we took this road all the way to Ashurst Lake. And I got to tell you, it is bumpy. If you don't mind the washboard, there's a couple of campgrounds back here that we've been to. This is the one where we stayed at, Ashurst Lake Campground. It's a nice little campground, but getting to it is a bumpy, I thought. But if you camped up here and took your truck down, or another vehicle, a Jeep, whatever you got behind you, you could fish along this, and it'd be really a lot of fun. There's a lot of areas to fish here. So just throwing that out there as an idea. And you're also not far from Lake Mary. I did another video on Lake Mary up here. There's Lakeview Campground as well as the day use area. So there's a lot of things to do in this area that's a lot of fun. It's about, I want to say the altitude right in the dispersed area here is about 7,200 feet. If I remember right, 7,300 feet. So you're up high enough that it'll be cool. You're a little bit lower at Pine Grove. I think Pine Grove is like 6,900 feet. So just so you're throwing that out there for you, those of you that are interested, it does make a difference in the summertime. Just 300 to 500 feet can make a difference in the temperature and the weather. Believe it or not, that 500-foot elevation makes all the difference sometimes, and as far as the temperature cooling off faster. And I did say something in the video about green grass. The higher you get, up 7,500 feet, it starts to green up a lot more. And you'll notice that too if you ever get in this area. It's beautiful though. Have fun. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it helpful. Have a great time wherever you're going. And don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Catch you later on the next video. Bye-bye.